Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about recent news related to biocomputers. What are biocomputers? How scientists are working on the biocomputers and how in the future it can help us in a much more detailed study of the human brain, its structure, composition and the function. But before that, let us try to understand the context of this particular topic. So recently the scientists at the popular or well-known university in USA, that is the Johns Hopkins University, have recently outlined a plan for potentially revolutionary new area of research which is called as organoid intelligence. It aims to basically create biocomputers where brain culture will be grown in the lab and they will be coupled with the real world sensor, real world stimuli sensor and input output devices for the measurement of the brainwave functions as well as their overall study. And as far as the statement given by the scientists at this particular university is concerned, they expect the technology to harness the processing power of the brain and understand the biological basis that how the various function of the human brain, various function that human brain performs, such as cognitive functions, how it is capable of learning so many things, and also various type of neurological diseases and disorders, how it spreads, why it happens and whether it can be prevented or not. So that is why in the future it has a very good scope as far as the area of research is concerned. Now as far as the current technology is concerned, if you look at the premises of technology, how currently scientists all across the world try to understand the human brain, so basically it has been always a difficult challenge. And traditionally, if you look at the researchers, they basically use the brain of the rat to investigate various human neurological disorders. But here is the problem, because there are several differences in the structure and function of obviously the human brain, which is a very large in size, very complex or complex, we can say, organic system. And obviously it has very strong differences in terms of cognitive capacities between rodent brain and the human brain. And thus, in a quest to develop systems that are more relevant to humans, scientists are now trying to build 3D structures or 3D culture of the brain tissues in the lab, and these are named as brain organoids or organoids. These mini brains, as we can call them, because the size of these organoids are up to 4 millimeter in general, are built using stem cell technology, using the stem cells of humans, and can capture many structural as well as the functional features of a developing human brain. So this is the current premise of technology, how the human brain study is being done. So what is the difficulty as far as this current approach is concerned? So obviously human brain, even if the scientists are able to grow the human brain in the culture, through the culture in the lab by using the stem cells, they require various sensory inputs such as touch, smell, vision, etc. to develop into the complex organs. And that is why these small brain, mini brain organoids that develop in the labs, aren't sophisticated enough. And not only that, due to their smaller size, they also lack blood circulation, which also limit their capability and of how they can grow, how bigger they can grow and how complex they can grow. If we take a look at that, how exactly the brain study of humans are concerned. So basically the scientists are planning to use various inputs such as electrical signals, chemical perfusion, optogenetics, as well as many complex biological inputs such as retinal organoids and multiple brain organoids. And then this various type of sensory input will be fed into this biological brain, and thus biological computing will be done by using big data management, artificial intelligence or machine learning. And then we'll have the output, that how brain is perceiving all this input and what kind of output the brain is giving to us, and that will help scientists understanding how complex brain function is, how it works, and which part of area and which kind of disease is affected. Because obviously if part of brain is affected by a certain disease, that part of brain will not be able to function properly, and thus we will see the similar kind of output as similar kind of output which is affected due to that particular kind of brain disorders. So how the new biocomputer will be different, and what are the challenges that scientists will have to face once they start working seriously on the biocomputer? So first of all, to prepare biocomputer itself, the scientists will have a humongous task to combine the brain organoids, that is a mini brain of 4 millimeter size, with the modern computing methods. Then to couple the organoids with machine learning by growing the organoids inside flexible structure affixed with the multiple electrodes to measure different capacity of the brain. And then finally they will be able to record the firing patterns of the neurons and also deliver electrical stimuli to mimic the sensory stimuli, as we have discussed in the last part of the image, last part of the diagram. So that is how the new biocomputer is going to function. Once all this procedure has been completed, once all the system has been put into place, the response patterns of the neurons and how this particular response pattern has what kind of effect on the human behavior or biology will then be analyzed by artificial intelligence or the machine learning techniques. So obviously in the near future, there is a huge opportunities for the growth of biocomputers and biocomputer related science. The reason is very simple. Because though the human brains, if you compare them with the computers, are obviously slow at calculation or carrying out arithmetic operations, but as far as the processing of complex information is concerned, human brains are manifold times, many times much more complex, much more intelligent, and much more, we can say, faster than the normal computers. And thus, the brain organoids can also be developed using stem cells from the individuals with neurodegenerative diseases. And once we are able to develop such brain organoids and then able to fix them, able to basically integrate them with the machine learning and artificial intelligence, we can to a great extent reveal the biological basis of human cognition, learning as well as memory. So obviously in the future, many such opportunities can arise in the area of biocomputer. And not only that, these science can also help us in decoding the pathology of drug development for devastating neurodevelopmental and degenerative diseases. Especially we have diseases such as microcephaly, we have diseases such as encephalitis. So very less understanding we have as far as these brain diseases are concerned. Even if we talk about diseases such as that lead to loss of memory or Parkinson diseases. So we'll have a lot of understanding that how these diseases affect the and which part of brain, and how we can basically develop which kind of drug to help people overcome the limitations of these diseases. Now, as far as the commercial use of biocomputers are concerned, they are very limited in extent. The reason is very simple. First of all, if we take a look at the size of these mini brains, so they have a diameter of less than 1 millimeter, and overall, if you look at the number of cells, they have fewer than 100,000 cells on an average, which make it roughly 3 millionth of the size of an actual brain. So obviously, as far as the capacity of these biocomputers are concerned, these are very primitive in nature, very less in extent as compared to the fully functional human brain. Second, if you talk at the function itself, the scientists need to develop microfluidic system to transport oxygen and nutrients and blood, as well as to remove the waste product from this biocomputer so that it can actually function like a human brain, even if at being a smaller size. And thus, researchers will need to finally store and analyze using big data infrastructure. They'll also need to develop and use advanced analytical techniques with help from machine, which we can call as machine learning, to correlate the structural and functional changes in brain organoids to various output variables. So that is why, as far as the present day, in the present time, commercial use of biocomputers are concerned, these are limited to few highly advanced labs across the universities or across the university campuses across world. And especially in India, the biocomputer is very nascent phase. Now, what are the challenges that scientists can face in the future once the growth in biocomputer based industry happens? So first of all, they have a challenge that need to establish long term memory in the biocomputers, as we have seen in the case of human brain. Second, applying this to patient cell derived brain or organoid, like if a brain culture has been developed using a brain of person who has been suffering from autism or Alzheimer, and then we have to understand that how their brain functions differ from the brain function of a normal human. So this is something that already is being done, and we are trying to understand using the biocomputers. Third, biocomputers is also going to have a great impact in the area of drug development, and it is expected that by the end of this particular decade, the role the biocomputers will play in drug development will be humongous in nature. And since, as we know, it is expected that the field of biocomputer will keep on growing bigger and bigger, a proposal at the side also has been made that there need to be an ethics team to parallelly identify, discuss, and analyze ethical issues as they arise in this particular course. And this kind of ethical issues we are seeing already that has been seen in the field of genetic engineering, or especially in the case of the children that are suffering from the genetic diseases. So this is something that also has to be done side by side. So that is all about the biocomputers. I hope you understood about the issue in detail. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such content.